Austin Mercury, hello. Bob Orff. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Brother K. This is day 3 of the Midwest Circumcision Crisis Protest. Today's a doubleheader. We're in Kalamazoo for the next hour. We've been here for a couple hours already. We're going to be in Grand Rapids later today. I'll bring you more live action from there. We have 11 or 12 protesters out here today, ladies and gentlemen. There's Norm Cohen, founder of No Circ of Michigan, co-sponsoring these Michigan protests with us. We'll talk to Norm in a few minutes. Hi, Norm.
Hi.
Catherine Franklin. Stephen has joined us. Stephen has driven over from Gary, Indiana. We'll talk to Stephen in a few minutes. And you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's a huge intersection. We have protesters on every corner.
It should be a man's choice how much of his penis he gets to keep, not his parents. All mammals are born with foreskin.
Jonah Love is watching. Hello, Jonah. Thank you. And we've got a local writer here, ladies and gentlemen, interviewing David Atkinson. He talked to me earlier. He's going to do an article about Bloodstained Men. And this is Ryan, ladies and gentlemen. He drove over from Detroit today. I'm going to reverse the camera so that we can talk to Ryan for a minute. It's a better microphone on the front, Ryan. Before I reverse the camera, let's just, while we're talking, let's just show the audience the tour, the protest in front of us. Ryan, you drove over from Detroit, about 2.5 hour drive.
Yes.
Let me reverse the camera. So tell our viewers why it mattered enough to you to take the day off from work and drive over. And you're going to join us in Grand Rapids later this afternoon.
Yes. It's when you find out it's damage, kind of upsetting. And we have this is a free country, so you have freedom of press. You have freedom of speech. You have freedom to protest, and you should have freedom from religion. And you should have freedom to your whole body. I watched the movie American Circumcision, and it educated me on a lot of things I didn't know. And that movie probably did a lot of things for me. So.
And you're going to join us later. You're driving over to Grand Rapids and join us in Grand Rapids.
Yes.
Thank you, Ryan, and we will talk to you in Grand Rapids.
Wait, one more. I just wish somebody would have done this for me. I'm upset, but I just wish somebody would have educated the people that came before me. So I didn't. Well, this is the one time I've been out here. But
right.
thanks.
So we are
Thank
out
you
here
for
trying to save other men from what was inflicted on us.
Yes. And thank you to the groups like Bloodstained Men, Intact America, all these places. I've just been like obsessed with this when I found out that how much damage it was. It's like, dang it. It gets you upset. But anyways, you have to forgive yourself if you did this or you allowed this to happen to your child.
Ryan, thank you, and we will talk to you again in Grand Rapids in just a few hours. Thank you for joining us here on the front lines. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to reverse the camera again. We're going to talk to some more people. And this is going to be a compressed day for us because it is a double header. Across the street here, you can see Seth Edward. Seth Edward has driven up from from Huntington, Indiana. We'll talk to Seth today sometime. Boys are born perfect too. Hi. Let me reverse the camera so we can talk to you. You look familiar. Either I've seen you on social media or we've met before.
I'm on Facebook.
What's your name, ma'am?
Brittany.
Brittany, and you live here in...
I live in Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
And Brittany, why are you out here today?
I'm here to raise a voice for the boys that need a voice, that don't have one. We're their only advocate as mothers. So we're here protecting them.
And how did you learn about this issue? How did you become aware of it?
When I became pregnant, I just did a lot of research, and it seemed like a really important topic that I didn't know a lot about. So I was very open to learning, and what I found out was that we are unnecessarily taking something away from boys, and I want to give that back to them.
And if there are mothers on the fence, what would be your advice to them?
Well, they can make that choice for themselves, when they're older, but don't be the one to take that away from them, because they can never get it back. And it can cause a lot of problems later. So, we're supposed to protect our children as mothers. So just do your research and you'll learn a lot. You will.
Thank you. Thank you for talking to us. Thank you for joining us here in Kalamazoo, Michigan on day 3 of the Midwest Circumcision Crisis Protest.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, I happen to be over here on the same corner as Tanya Ma. Many of you will remember Tanya from previous protest tours. Tanya, you have actually toured with Bloodstained Men several times.
Yes, I have.
And you now have 2 kids. When you toured with us, I think you actually toured with us when you were pregnant too, with your second child.
Yep, I did.
So, Tanya, why are you out here today with Bloodstained Men?
I'm passionate about this cause because it's an underrated but growing movement, and it causes a lot of controversy. It's needed. People aren't speaking out about it. It's something that needs to be talked about, and it affects our country at many different levels. Crosses the lines of sex, politics, medical fraud, infant development, human development, the bonding, affects boys, teenagers, men. So it's a trauma, and it's because it's a neonatal trauma, it's repressed, and it's even harder for victims to talk about it, and there's stigma and shame. So the more reason to speak out about something that is hidden in ways, This is something that people don't like to talk about, but very needed, because if we don't, society will continue to be wounded and toxic, and it's just harmful. It's just common sense to protect babies and children from harm. I mean, seeing it for it is, genital skinning, it's a torture, really grotesque.
Genital skinning, torture, and really grotesque.
Yeah.
Tanya Ma, very eloquent, and we will talk to you on our live broadcast in Grand Rapids a little bit later on.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us here, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
And Kelsey Ballard is watching. Hello, Kelsey. Kelsey from South Bend, Indiana. Kelsey Ballard, who protested with us yesterday in South Bend. Thank you, Kelsey. Let me reverse the picture again. So when I talk to people, ladies and gentlemen, I bring them on this side of the of my smartphone because it's got the best microphone. But I get the best picture here, and you can see Seth Edward there is doing videos. He's been posting some videos on TikTok. Seth Edward, let's people know you pretty well. Tell them how they can see because you're doing some good videos out here. Tell them how they can see what you're doing on TikTok.
I'm popular in the 80s on TikTok. Number 80S, and popular in the 80s.
So just spell the whole thing for everyone.
POPULARINTHE, number 8, number 0, S.
Popular in the 80s, and ladies and gentlemen, you will see Seth Edward on TikTok, and you will see some wonderful, incredible, powerful videos from the front lines with Bloodstained Men that he is now posting on TikTok. And actually, he sent me one of his videos yesterday that had gotten several thousand views, and I posted it on my TikTok, which is Brother K _ Bloodstained Men. You can see me on TikTok, and I'm probably going to borrow another one of your videos today, Seth.
Yeah, and I think it was over 5,000, maybe even 6,000. It's actually my most viewed video so far. They can get a lot more. I've seen some of these videos that people do just passing in their cars that have gotten, what was that one, like 4.5 million views, I think that it had.
Yeah, one of the TikTok videos got close to 5 million views from the Southwest tour.
And there's overwhelming support when you get on TikTok because it's a global audience. So that global audience just thinks Americans are just fucking crazy because, we're 5% of the global population, and the rest of the world just doesn't do this. And so you get on there and people are like, oh, I'm happy I'm circumcised. And people, like, why are you like, what the hell is wrong with you Americans? You guys are crazy. And it kind of just makes an interesting dichotomy to see a global audience versus what we usually see just like on Facebook or whatever, where it's mostly just U.S. citizens.
Thank you, Seth Edward. We will talk to you in Grand Rapids a little bit later today also. Seth Edward, ladies and gentlemen, the big man of intactivism, 6'5", and smart as a whip. Very, very innovative intactivist, ladies and gentlemen. Seth Edward of Huntington, Indiana, has taken days off from his business to join us here yesterday in South Bend and today here in Kalamazoo and Grand Rapids, and then he's going to go home, but he'll be back with us next week. I'm going to cross the street and talk to some more people. This is an abbreviated protest today, ladies and gentlemen, because it's a double header. We are going to protest here for about another 45 minutes, and then we're going to pack up and head to Grand Rapids, where we're going to protest for a couple of hours. So these are double headers for Bloodstained Men, where we are trying to reach as many cities as we can. And we do appreciate your donations to Bloodstained Men. You can donate through the donate button on our Facebook page, Bloodstained Men and Their Friends, or go to our website, bloodstainedmen.com, and there is a PayPal button on bloodstainedmen.com. Use the drop-down menu on the right, and there'll be a donate tab. But we do this, so we're all volunteers, ladies and gentlemen. We do this because of your donations, which allow us to travel from city to city across the United States. We are all volunteers. None of us are paid. Your donations go only to fund our travel expenses. Amy Lorenz is watching. Thank you, Amy. Honk of support. It's been a pretty mellow day here, ladies and gentlemen, in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I have not heard anyone cursing us out. And over the years, the people who curse us out at our protests, motorists who drive by and curse us out or flip us off, every year we notice less and less hatred from the public. And here today in Kalamazoo, Michigan, I have not seen any myself. I have not witnessed any. So we have, I believe, 12 protesters out here, ladies and gentlemen, in Kalamazoo, Michigan. There's David Atkinson and Catherine Franklin holding down the corner. David Atkinson, let me, while I show the protest in the background, I just want to ask you a quick question. I was just telling our audience that we have seen the hatred decline over the years. I have not personally heard any hatred today from motorists. I don't know if you have or not.
There may have been one or two hecklers, but I don't think they were extremely hateful hecklers. But we're getting a lot more the amount of supportive honks and thumbs up is a lot higher than the amount of hecklers. And this is probably the first time that that's happened here in Michigan, because it's been several years since we've been here. I remember the first time I wore a Bloodstained suit was in Lansing, Michigan in 2014. And it was like, I don't know, 80-90% hecklers. And so I would get used to just standing there and letting people say whatever evil, hideous things to me that they wanted, and I would just stand there. And after a few years, it got to the point where I don't have to put up with that anymore, because there's not so much hateful things, so many hateful things being directed at us. So that's good news.
That's awesome. David Atkinson, ladies and gentlemen, CEO, president, planner, and co-director of Bloodstained Men. We are here because of his planning. David Atkinson picked this location, and you can hear he confirms that we are, and Thomas Chang is watching. Thank you, Thomas. That we are experiencing more support and less hostility from the public each year, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the good news. And Bloodstained Men, our protests in cities across the nation, from coast to coast, are having a positive effect on the public dialogue around the controversial subject of newborn male genital mutilation in American hospitals. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is my report here. Let me see if I can cross the street. Wrap it up on the other side by the big banner. I think I'll get the walk sign in a second. But I'll be doing another live broadcast in a few hours from Grand Rapids, ladies and gentlemen. So another successful protest here on day 3 of the Midwest Circumcision Crisis Protest. 20 days, ladies and gentlemen. This is day 3, 17 days to go. We are reaching 28, we are protesting in 28 cities because Zachary Deering is watching, thank you, Zachary, because of the fact that we're doing double headers like today, where we will be in 2 cities today, ladies and gentlemen, here in Kalamazoo this morning, and we're going to be in Grand Rapids this afternoon. So thank you for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I will be back in a few hours from Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is Brother K reporting live. From Kalamazoo, Michigan, ladies and gentlemen. Donate what you can to Bloodstained Men. We do need your support to fund our travel expenses from coast to coast in cities around the nation. We are going to protest our hearts out, ladies and gentlemen. All volunteers doing this with your support for our travel expenses. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you later today in Grand Rapids.